I'm not fucking leaving. The show goes on. This is my home. They're gonna need a fucking wrecking ball to take me out of here. They're gonna need to send in the National Guard or fucking SWAT team, because I ain't going nowhere.
Look. I'm on tour right now. I ain't trying to,
Shoot, it's the New OGs. The New OGs is a State Madison Entertainment production, and it's brought to you by Solar Masters. Look, Illinois is changing how people get their electricity, and Solar Masters is helping homeowners in Illinois take advantage of a program that lets them get solar power at no cost. If you're a single-family homeowner in the state of Illinois, you can lower your electric bill, raise the value of your home, and do something good for the environment without paying a single dollar out of pocket to do so. In fact, Solar Masters can only work with you if they can save you money. Solar Masters is a Black-owned company and a SunPower dealer, an American panel maker with over 30 years of solar experience. They even have a referral program that pays out as much as $500 per referral. So head over to www.gosolarmasters. Yes, sir.
Bobby!
Yes, sir.
Tell me, please. I want to make sure I understand you here, son.
Tell me. Let's talk about it.
You're telling me the people, they could get a lower electricity bill.
Lower electricity bill.
They could do something good for Mother Earth.
They can do something good for Mother Earth. That is also true.
And if they know someone else who also takes advantage of the solar, they too could get $500.
They can get $500. That's absolutely right.
They would be Meshuggah not to do this.
They would be. They'd be absolute Meshuggah not to do this.
It's a shanda for the Goyim if they don't do this.
Well, anybody who knows what that means, anybody who knows what that means should definitely get over to www.gosolarmasters.com and get in contact for a free consultation. Order a first when you know. We see he's got his white tears mug out. Make sure you get over there and check it out. We are also brought to you by People of Comedy. People of Comedy is a network that we're on right now.
Yeah,
James
baby.
Webb with the super dope opening. If you didn't get here for the opening, get back and check that out. Get over to People of Comedy on Facebook. Find them on Instagram. Find them on YouTube and Twitch. See all the great shows they have offered there. They've got a ton of great stuff going on. Top podcast studio in the city of Chicago. May I say the side of the Mississippi?
Oh, thanks, man.
Make sure you get over there and check everything out. I haven't been to all the spots, but I'm just going to claim that because who the fuck would argue that? I mean, like, could you imagine if somebody sent me an email and was like, "Get the fuck out of here. We got a better one." I'm like, "All right, cool. Show me." You know. I don't think it's going to happen, but definitely check out People of Comedy and all the cool stuff they've got going over there.
People.
I was a little slow on the opening today. I've been sick all week long. I don't know what the hell is wrong with me. It's not COVID. They're not COVID symptoms. I have nothing. That was the happiest thing that happened to me. I was realizing that I looked up all the potential symptoms for COVID, like all the things that could possibly be like indicators. And what's wrong with me is none of those things. So even though I felt like shit all week, I've also been like, but hey, y'all.
I don't have the COVID.
I'm pretty sure it ain't a death problem that we got to deal with. So I think we'll be all right. How are you guys doing? XL, Rob, what's going on, man? XL, how you doing, baby?
I'm doing real groovy, man. I am loving the executive order action. I am loving the vibe of the Biden tribe thus far. And yeah. And I mean, we got a lot of shit that we're going to talk about, so I'm not going to jump into that. I also am very much excited and loving the fact that the whole world is talking about something that I used to have a very strong passion for. So it's very cool.
Yeah, I was definitely going to bring that, as we start to get into this. And obviously, if you're just, unless you literally just woke up this afternoon after about a week and a half of sleep, obviously the main thing that we're going to be talking about today, or the first thing we're probably going to be talking about today, will be what's happening on Wall Street, or actually what's not happening on Wall Street, what's happening on everybody's phone, since everybody's using Robinhood to trade it. But before we get into it, I am a smooth-brained ape, so I am not going to be able to give you a lot of financial advice, and none of us here technically will. But X, you are the only person who actually has had a brokerage license, right? You passed a Series 7. You've been an actual broker. You actually have a degree.
I
in
have
finance.
sold some shit. I have sold some shit. I have managed finances before a long time ago. It's been 17 years. Fuck, sure. 17 years. Longer than my child has been alive since I did anything of any value. But yeah.
So, you know, and I say that just because, you know, if there's any parts of the discussion where you chime in, while our arguments may be driven by our personal beliefs and desires and goals, what we don't have is your actual knowledge of what the rules are supposed to be. So we will for sure be like, all right, well, maybe you know a rule we don't know. I don't know. Maybe there's something going on. We're willing to buy into that. You know what I mean? So Rob, what's going on with you, man? How's your week going? I know you are sitting here watching all this stuff and seeing everything happening, and you have, you know, gotten yourself into a place you can learn everything that's happening here. How's your week been, man?
Hey, man, my week was pretty interesting. I had to have a tooth pulled.
Shit.
When I was in Chicago in August, I had gotten some Fruity Pebble edibles. And I bit down, I froze one and I bit down on it and it broke a tooth. Well, I finally got enough courage to go get the tooth pulled because I didn't want to catch COVID in the neck. So I tried to stay away from any time I had to open up my mouth. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather do it.
COVID in the neck is bad. COVID in the neck, that's, yeah.
You don't want it in the neck.
Not at all. Not at all. So I finally went and got it pulled and I'm cool right now. I got a lot of spit in my mouth. But outside of that, I'm pretty cool. You know what I'm saying? I'm nice and high where I would like to be. And I'm ready to shoot down all the dumb shit. To say about how beautiful the system is.
I thought you had the dental thing yesterday. You had it just before this?
Yeah, well, I had it on Monday.
Oh, you just high off your regular shit. Okay,
yeah,
I thought you were still high off of dental gas.
This is ice cream cake right here, baby. It was delicious.
I was like, oh, today's about to get real fly if you still on that dental shit and you high. You about to you about to curse everybody out before this one's over. You about to you start cursing with your cartoon behind you before this is done.
Hey, in my life, in my experience, dentists their wives always way outshoot their looks. Like it'd be a regular ass nerdy looking white dude and his wife is hot as fuck. And I know dentists make loot, but that ain't it, man. They be giving the bitches that gas.
Yeah, they got the gas all the time. Well, the other thing too is like, fam. You know, an average looking woman who's got like a perfect smile, like that raises attractiveness. You know what I mean? Like you see some good ass teeth on a woman who may not be the dopest. You're like, but man, when she smiles, I don't know what happens. So like Dennis, them dudes be like, come on in here, I got you squared away, girl. She probably had all type of rickety. She probably had bad fence posts going on everywhere. And
dude, she might be watching the show, so I ain't gonna give too many details about it. But I got a homegirl whose life was like that for real. She's very attractive, and she dated a cosmetic dentist, and her shit got right. Yeah, and that's all I can say.
It's always interesting how X always got some sort of shady ass story at the end of
There's always like a pause that has to happen. It's like we can't go any further than that because otherwise I will incriminate myself or the details would be too big.
I'm not a snitch. I don't want to be telling other people's business. I don't want to be telling other people business, man. Like I told as much of the story I could tell because I know somebody in her region watches this show, and if I gave one more detail, it might have identified who I was talking about. So,
hey, man, you don't have to justify your bullshit. I'm just saying, let's not act like it ain't bullshit. At the end of every time we talk, you got some shady shit going on. You dig what I'm saying? I think you might be with them people. I believe you might.
Rob, for the white folk listening, could you explain what them people mean?
Oh yeah, so if you look at Malcolm X when they shot him and he was sitting on that stage, it was a nigga standing over him trying to give him the Heimlich or some shit. That nigga was with the FBI. That's what I'm saying. Like they're gonna infiltrate your shit. It's going to be infiltrated. There's not much you can do. You just might as well let your nuts hang low.
Hey,
yeah.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Rob, I love you like a brother, but duck the next time you see me, nigga. You to call me the feds? Nigga, I would kill you. What the fuck is wrong with you? I am so far from the motherfucking feds. Hey, the niggas that's tapping our shit is dying laughing in the van right now.
He called X the feds? We was gonna get X next. We was gonna actually use them to get X.
They're never gonna believe it now. We try to mic this motherfucker. They were already on to him. We hadn't even got him yet. God damn.
Oh my God.
He was the target, but I guess we're gonna have to pick a different one. We're gonna have to start somewhere else and get him down the line.
Hey, I know they watching me. That's why I watch the porn I watch. I want them to know I'm black through and through. So when they see all my porn, it's what it's gonna look like.
There's actually a movie coming out on February 12th called Judas and the Black Messiah.
I'm so looking forward to that joint, man. That looks so fucking good.
Yeah, it actually outlines William O'Neill's infiltration of the Black Panther Party that led to the death of Fred Hampton, who I think was like 20 when Brother Fred got killed, which is crazy that he made that much of an impact that even by the age of 20, they were like, we just ain't gonna have this happen no more. Like, and so for those of you who don't know or haven't looked into it, he was absolutely slaughtered in his home. It was his 21st year on Earth, but he hadn't hit 21 yet. So he was, I think,
Breonna Taylor style.
Yeah, it was not that far off from that. It was a similar type of situation. And that's like, that's one of those things where we're like, when you talk about systemic, or you talk about like this ain't new, or when people get mad now and you're like, well, we've been, it's like when you've been trying to, like, if you found out that Santa Claus existed or some shit, but like everybody could know, but nobody would go. I don't even know how to like compare that to something, but like, it's the opposite of crying wolf. It is the opposite of crying wolf. Yeah. It's some horror movies.
This is a weird favorite funny thing about Fred Hampton, but in I think the mid 90s, City Council had they wanted to pass a thing to make a Fred Hampton Day, and it almost passed until the white alderman figured out that it wasn't Dan Hampton for the Bears. They thought they were saying yes to that shit because they just heard Hampton, and literally it was going through. They got it like through the first stage of whatever you got to do, and it was almost like ready to like, whoa, no, yeah,
that's crazy.
They was gonna be looking for the dude with the bad knees and a broke up finger.
Yeah, who is definitely nothing like Fred Hampton, I'm pretty sure. I don't think Dan. No. There's not a lot similar between Fred and Dan. I do want to talk about how crazy.
Took a lot to stop both of them.
Yeah, I do want to talk about how crazy the last 4 weeks have gone, because that will kind of lead us into what we're talking about today. This is the last Friday of the month. There have been 4 Wednesdays in January. The first Wednesday in January, there was the assault on the Capitol, the insurrection attempt, the sedition attempt. The second Wednesday was the second impeachment of Donald Trump. The third Wednesday was the inauguration of Joe Biden. And the fourth Wednesday was the market insanity that went on with GameStop. And that has been the last 4. That's the first 4 Wednesdays of 2021. And so, like, while 2020, like, once the pandemic hit, 2020 seemed pretty predictable, right? Like, it seemed like it was like, oh, I guess we home for a while, right? Like the people that were against the idea of the pandemic or that COVID was real kept thinking like, a couple months we back out in the world. But a lot of us who had more sense than to believe that everybody would have sense were like, oh, this is going to be a minute, because we're too stupid to actually embrace a smart idea. And we're too unwilling to give people enough money to be able to like take that in, right? People still had to work. But so it became predictable after a while. Like once you got to April or May, I was like, this shit, I'm gonna be home all year. Ain't nobody going nowhere. This ain't ending. I mean, once you realize that they had to get a vaccine and they just dying, once the numbers jumped up to some crazy, once it hit like 20,000 or something, I was like, we ain't going nowhere for a minute, man. You better just start ordering in. I got the air fryer in May, nigga. I knew we weren't going nowhere. I was like, I might as well start making investments in home products. You know what I mean? Like, and so, but 2021 is unpredictable because as we ended 2020, like a vaccine showed up, a second one showed up. They got 3 or 4 more in trials right now. They're about to come. So like the potential return to some version of reality is like nigh, right? Like it's on the doorstep out there. We know there's a potential that by the middle of the year, we could have a lot of people vaccinated to the point where like the arguments for being more open are going to be more particular. I'm still going to be home most of the year, but the unpredictable.
Nah, Bobby, you know what I think? That's what happened, man. Like, okay, this shit has been like, it's like a superhero movie, but we ain't got the superhero part yet, right? And so the next thing the bad guys gonna do, they're gonna figure out a way to fuck up the virus and make it worse. Like they're gonna do something.
But there's new strains coming.
Yeah, the Brazilian strain apparently is the most badass strain, and I just figured out because
of course it is. Motherfucker came back. Motherfucker came through Carnival.
Yeah.
It's the Carnival strain. That motherfucker is wild as hell.
It's the sexiest version of coronavirus.
That strain is riding on the shoulders of a big ass Mandingo fucking Brazilian dude snorting coke off his shoulder. That's what that strain is doing. That's on some Rihanna at Carnival type shit. That's the type of strain we're about to get.
That should get in your bloodstream. You guys want to party? You like to party?
Fuck your whole world though.
Yeah, it's gonna be over with. Oh, but I just like it. I don't have faith. I think the new administration is doing anything that they're supposed to do. They're trying to. They're saying all the right things. They haven't fumbled yet that I can see, that I can think of right now. And I'm enjoying that. Like the normalcy of a press conference where the press secretary isn't lying. Like where like press secretary isn't saying something that we know for a fact isn't true. And force feeding it to us.
You know what I do like about Jen? You know what I do like about Jen Psaki is that one of the things
Psaki bombs.
One of the things she will definitely tell somebody is, I don't know that right now. I'm gonna have to let you know. Like, and I know
I haven't talked to somebody about that yet.
And I know part of that is a thing of like not trying to give an answer, right? I get that. I understand that. But I would rather somebody find a way to just hold off on giving me the answer than tell me some bullshit, which is what we got for the last four. That all the from homeboy that Spicer to Sarah Sanders to Kayla McEnany, it seems like there were times where someone would ask them a question, and when they should have said, "I'll get back to you on it," they're like, "Oh yeah, we're just gonna blow up Main Street in all the cities and kill Democrats." Like it was just like, wow. They're just say, "Wow, that shit." Well, the president believes that Mexicans can go fuck themselves, and you're just like, "What?" It's like, how is that some shit you could just say? Shit, you just said, "I'll get back to you, bitch." What the fuck is you doing,
dude? When the original bitch that's abusing her daughter, when that bitch said, Kellyanne, when she said alternative facts, the whole shit should have been shut down right there. That should have been. Cut, like the director should have yelled cut, and we should like bring in the stand-ins or something like that because these motherfuckers like their whole doubles. Get the stunt doubles. Yeah, man. Like, I actually watch her press conferences. Man, you don't give a fuck about press. Well, I was watching Trump press conferences because they were so fucking insane to see how much they lie. But watching this press conference, it was like watching competence. Well, just watching somebody be good at what they do. Like she would say this morning, at the top, she said, "I'm not going to talk about anything with the virus because the virus, the CDC people are speaking right after me. And so anything that pertains to that, they'll answer that. It wouldn't make any sense for me to answer it." She said at the beginning of her shit. That's
just a great. That would have never happened in the last 4 years.
Yeah,
I don't know.
And then 4 reporters tried to ask her virus questions, and she was like, "I'm sure they'll cover that in 34 minutes." And she just kept that shit moving, and it's nice. This bitch is like jujitsu, just like shit be water. That motherfucker's throwing shit at her. She just floating.
Here's the thing is like
right back to it.
Here's the thing, man. Even if she wasn't like more onto the side politically that you agree with, even if she was a Republican and that's how she was handling it, I would still respect that. I'd still be like, well, at least they're giving it to the right other person I don't like to tell me some shit. You know what I mean? Like, at least have the right wrong motherfucker tell me some shit. Don't.
I can't remember. They had one blonde white lady that was pretty good, but they had to get rid of her because some other dumb shit she said. But she was pretty good. I can't remember who it was. She was pretty good at flipping that shit. Was it Megan? But it doesn't matter. But yeah, the Republicans run out of motherfuckers quick that can flip that shit and pivot. Pivot, that's the word I want to say. That can pivot and turn something the other way. What were you gonna say, Rob?
Well, it's hard to pivot when you covered in shit, because anywhere it go, it's
just
slap
it's
around.
just shit.
You know what I'm saying? You can't really. The thing for me, man, is again, and I know y'all tired of hearing this, both you guys and the people out there listening, but we should never get away from the idea or the fact that a lot of this shit is not new, and it's been a lot worse. My grandfather was alive during the Tulsa riots. You see what I'm saying? So every time I see someone act amazed by this type of shit, and again, the reason why we fall prey to it, because I was just like that, because I given a lot of myself to the system. So what I'm saying is the reason we fall prey to it is because it's not as bold as it was. We're way more comfortable than we really should be. And because of that, we don't ever want to face the reality of what could possibly happen.
That Lee Atwater shit.
Man, hey, tomorrow, them somebody could get on the internet and say, let's go get this black dude, and your yard could look just like the Capitol.
I mean, they called Hakeem Jeffries' family members in the middle of storming the Capitol, and that's a black dude who got black family, who they for sure were talking about, we gotta come get you next when we're done taking this shit over. So that's all a possibility, which we're gonna talk about some of that, because I do want to talk about Marjorie Taylor Greene. But the thing that's really set this week off, it's also relieving that like we've had a week where the politicians have not been the headline of what's been going on in the world. Like it has been, at the bare minimum, it is a relief to not have to like think about or argue with somebody about what the politicians are necessarily doing right now. It has been a relief to be able to look at some other things. And, this is to me why some of the people who were in favor of Trump liked him, because things like what's happened this past week with the stock market were less likely to happen because people's money and time and energy were so bound up in other things that, like, who was taking time to go fiddle with the stock market when you busy fighting 15 niggas on Facebook who said that this ain't real and we need to build a wall and we need to, you know what I mean? Like, that guy deserved to die because he may have possibly committed a crime 15 years ago, or he was a felon 20 years ago. So he should, like, that has opened the door. Well, plus everybody's at home and people got a little stimmy. And so, somebody figured out how to fuck the system a little bit, or at least put an attempt in, or pull some money out, or show some people a way to fuck a system a little bit. The headline of the week has been GameStop with the surge, Reddit versus the system, taking rockets to the moon, diamond hands. That's what's been going on all week long. X, you are the resident financial expert. Can you give a simple explanation of shorting so that people understand what shorting is?
All right, shorting is basically when you think a company is whatever the value of the stock is at today, you think sometime in the very near future it is going to be down. It's going to decrease. So if it's at $10, you think it's going to drop down to say $9.50 or $8 or whatever it drops down to. You place a bet by shorting, and the amount of money you short, the amount of stock that you short, you don't actually have to own that stock. But basically what happens is if you're right and the stock price drops, you shorted it at 10, it drops down to 8, you buy it at 8 to sell the short that you purchased. You buy it at 8 and you basically made the $20, the $2 per share difference. That's your profit. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So, like, to even give it a broader number, because obviously you got to pay back whoever you borrowed the shit from in the first place. They get a cut of that. Yeah. Right. So, like, you borrow, first of all.
But right now, interest is so low. That doesn't even matter.
Interest rate zero right now because of Big Daddy. Big Daddy Jay Powell has interest rates at zero. So that's why it's been able to happen. But essentially what's going on is, like, I can't short a bunch of shit because I don't have the capital lying in wait to do it, right? So to be even more clear, what's happening is companies have gotten approved to be able to borrow shares from lenders, right? That's what's happening. Like you and I can't short a stock by a bunch of money, can we?
No. You have to have a certain amount of money in reserve, and some. You have to have financial backing, because whatever you short, if you're wrong and the stock goes up for whatever reason, something happens you didn't anticipate or whatever,
you got to pay that money back.
Instead of making $2 because you bought the stock at 8 and sold it at 10, you're buying the stock at 10.50 and you're losing 50 cents a share.
Right.
And that shit gets expensive much faster.
Because they're not buying a single share, right? These big companies,
they're buying
something, they're buying thousands and thousands of shares.
Yeah. To give people like an idea, one of the guys, an old dude, this dude's like in his 70s, was on CNBC yesterday. Bobby and I were watching.
That Cooperman?
And they asked him about, I can't remember what stock it was. It might have been AMC. And they asked him if he had any shares, and he goes, "Yeah, I think I got 100,000. I can't remember." But and then he went he didn't give a shit about it. He had 100,000 shares that he could barely remember if he had or not of this company. Like, that's how much this guy trades. That's how many shares he has. And those are market makers. Those are dudes that they can decide.
And to be clear, you had 100,000 shares of a company that's sitting at somewhere between $10 and $15 a share right now. So
yeah,
take on the low end, take 10 times 100,000.
Yeah.
And that's how much money he forgot he had invested in a stock that he doesn't really even give a fuck about, right?
Yeah,
like that's it.
He doesn't care about at all.
Right.
So if he sold his shares, that would change how the market would view it, right? He could actually make the numbers actually tick down on the ticker if he sold his shares.
Yeah, sometimes, because 100,000 probably wouldn't do that, but it would probably make, because of who he is, it would probably make people pay attention. Like, wait, oh shit, Coop just dumped his 100,000, dumped his last 100,000, and it could swing down. But one of the things that is interesting about this is a stock price to a company is supposed to be relative to what the value of that company is. So, like, if you took all the assets,
that's the concept.
That's the concept.
Right.
It doesn't always work
the market
like that.
because the market is essential. I mean, we just made up the idea of the stock market, right? Like, we just decided we were gonna have a market to do all this shit. So the concept in itself is like, that's how it's supposed to work.
That's how it actually worked until the late 90s, when Clinton
when shorting started.
Shorting has always gone on, but shorting the way it's being done now, the difference between before, when you shorted you would short sometimes to hedge against something else. It was not something that you did as a strategy. Not that many people do it. Even nowadays, not that many people do it. I do think it's wrong to make shorter people who do shorts the villain. I think that's like a product of Hollywood, because that's like the bad guy in any movie that has any kind of stock thing, that they're the bad guy because
shorting has helped out a lot. When you look at Enron, shorting is what showed everybody that Enron was full of shit. You know, shorting the housing market, even though it made homeboy who figured that out a lot of money, like, it helped everybody realize that the housing market bubble was done. I mean, you know, it does create liquidity in the market. I'm not against the idea of shorting. Like, that's the thing that I think that's what's missed in a lot of this, is that people are, there's a lot of different factors of people who are playing into this whole system. It is not just Wall Street guys versus altruistic people that are against a version of how it works. It's not just
I just thought of a real quick, easy way for a lot of people to get it. If you're watching or listening, if you've ever been at a crap table, that guy who bets don't pass, that's a short. That guy's short. He's betting against the positive movement.
Right. Yeah.
He's not a bad guy. He's just betting the odds that it looks like you're not going to be successful.
Yeah, essentially what's happening is they borrow the shares and then they bet against what they're going to be. They borrow the shares and they sell them immediately, betting it's going to go down. And then if it goes down, then they're big winners and they can pay the company they borrowed from, and they also make a big profit, right? They get all that. And the problem with that is, like you said, if it goes up, everybody's fucked. But they're also the only people who get to do it because they can only back that money. But what happened was, you know, a bunch of people are at home right now. There's a subreddit that had been going on for a while called Wall Street Bets. The subreddit it's largely a meme kind of, it's a meme kind of a subreddit where people are literally, there's very little ability to tell what's real and what isn't on there unless somebody actually posts their real shit. Like here's what my losses and gains are looking like right now. It's a subreddit where people happily were posting YOLOs that they lost a ton of money on, which is basically I put up 80% of my worth or 80% of my check or more and threw that at one thing and it fucking blew up and I lost all my shit. Like people would post that shit happily on there for a long time. And a couple years ago, a dude who was going by Deep Fucking Value as his username on there, Roaring Kitty on YouTube, posted a video that was like, I think it was like 5 minutes long or 20, or I think it was maybe the first video he posted, I think was maybe an hour. And he was talking about how he had like 50 grand he was dumping into GameStop. And he laid out all the reasons why he thought it was a good idea. And it was under $1, I think, at the time. And it languished for a while, and then it started to grow a little bit. Some other people jumped onto the idea. They added a new guy to their board who was a CEO of another big company who was making some changes. They closed a lot of their locations, which consolidated some of their goods. They went to the digital side on a lot of their stuff. It's everybody knows what GameStop is, so you know what they do. But they moved to a lot of digital download stuff, so they were trying to change with the times and so like, the reality is that GameStop has a potential has the potential to survive. It's just, where is the value at? And of course, I don't know if, where does it stand? I don't know. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not the person to tell you whether it's worth $500 or whether it's worth $2. That's not my job. But that's the whole idea of speculation. For me, part of the market is, what can we speculate where it could be driven to? You know what I mean? Who could you draw? What's the process of how this all works? And I think what we've seen here is a good example of how that happens, because there are no breaks. There were no breaks until it got insane.
Actually, I did like a little bit more research because all this shit was like so wild because I didn't know anything about it until you told me what was going on. I saw the story. And when I saw something in the news was about GameStop, and I ignored it on purpose because I thought it was about them going out of business, and I didn't want to feel sad. So I was like, I'm not gonna read that fucking story about the place I love. I think I have an active GameStop member card right now. I'm pretty sure my member card at GameStop is active because my new controller is less than a year old. So anyway, I didn't look at it, and then when you finally told me about it, I think it's cool to fucking beat up on the short guy because those guys, they're rich, were beating up on a billionaire. Sweet, cool.
Some of them could take the hit,
They're gonna get. What's gonna happen is they're just gonna get backed up by somebody else because like they're super smart dudes, and they're gonna figure out. I wouldn't. That's a bear.
Are they smarter than potato in my ass? I don't know, but are they?
I wouldn't keep betting against them because I just think that they are the type of people that they'll figure out a way to swing it. That next time you go for a big punch, they dip, duck, and end up on the other side somehow.
You ain't gonna never beat these people who run the shit. I don't even understand why this is a big deal. You done got one motherfucking Rain Man into the game, and he done ran up the score a little bit, and now these motherfuckers is crying and shutting shit down and all this other shit. It ain't gonna dig it. You ain't gonna never beat these cats at this game. They have too much of a head start and way too much more than you. What they upset about is that you got some. That's what's all fucked up about all this. They don't give a fuck about. Look, if they could just look, the type of mentality these people have is that of like Michael Jordan. Like, I'm not just gonna beat you. I just don't want you to never think you have any hope of doing anything in my arena. And the fact that one of y'all done figured out and told a bunch of other people to do some shit, now they mad. Because it ain't working for them. And you might have caught a couple of them flat-footed, and somebody might lose some shit. Boo fucking who? Like, the moment you stop letting me do what y'all been doing all this time is the moment that I know the game is bullshit. Oh, that's it again. Once again, shit ain't fair. You know, it's always the same to me.
Yeah, we've been.
So-
I mean, go ahead.
I slightly there's some misinformation that got out about this, so I want to be clear. Robinhood, Robinhood, you could buy GameStop stock. You just had to go through a broker that charges a fee. Like
Right.
you could have went through anybody that sold Robinhood, GameStop stock and got it. Robinhood stopped selling it because Robinhood couldn't cover some of the things that they had. Or their clearinghouse, Citadel, said, "Hey, you motherfuckers ain't got enough dough," and they had to get some. They had to do some shit to meet their margins. They met their margins. They opened the thing back up, but they let people continue to sell their position. So any like loss on like there wouldn't be any loss. Like nobody should have lost if you're holding a stock that is a $17 stock and it's at $150 or $200 and they fucking stop it and you think it's going to go down, well, fucking sell it. Get out of the thing and
Well,
go
sure,
back
if you
in
think
when
it's going to
drops
go down, but the reason why that is troublesome is because the Robinhood got held up because they didn't have enough money, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the stock price has to go down. The Robinhood is not the controller of the stock price. Robinhood is the controller of its members buying and purchasing and selling power. They don't control what the actual stock price is. Like you said, you could still buy stock if you had a cash account. You could still buy stock if you had a brokerage firm buy it for you. You could still buy stock that way, and that's what kept the numbers where they were. But the truth is like that's why people were upset and didn't sell, because they, the idea was.
Well, no, I think people did start selling because
some people did, but people held, which is why it's still up today.
Yeah, but that's why it went down initially. It went back up when wait. Here's what I'm saying. There were people who don't have the faith that you have. They saw they were in it for whatever. When they started to get out because they thought it was over because Robinhood and another one I can't remember stopped letting the people buy it. They thought it was over. They start bailing. The price didn't drop. But the reason why I know that was what really happened was because if it was really a price drop, that motherfucker, the bottom would have fell out because it was all a game. The bottom would have fell. That shit would have dropped all the way back down to the teens or some shit like that. When it hovered at like 200 something and then came right back up as soon as they started selling it, that was people realizing that, oh, the game is back on. We can go through that.
I agree with you partially. Like, yes, obviously, of course, when people saw it and they were like, ah, shit, the jig is up. It's time to get out. But also there are a lot of companies that do shorts that use short laddering to help also drive the price down. Like if you put people in a position where the obviously Robinhood, the people who bought through Robinhood and other no fee brokerage opportunities had made the dent, which is why they had to take the stop because the money was being pushed through there largely. And so when you shut that off and you tell people all you can do is sell, well, now you've limited the amount of people and where people can actually buy the stock to keep the price up. And it gives companies that short a chance to take short options on shorter dates to be able to ladder it down.
And if anybody who was really like in the stock, you could have literally gone online and opened up a Schwab account and paid $5 per trade. I mean, if it was really like that, like you
got to pay $5 per each time you trade, but they can't.
You're paying it either way because the way Robinhood.
Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it's not equitable or fair. Yeah. What I'm saying is, if I can pay somebody $5 to be a part of that game that's going on over there, why can this motherfucker who I'm paying the $5 to can't pay a couple dollars to the government?
Oh, well, that's a whole different argument. That's a whole different conversation. But yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, the thing is that and like I said at the beginning, there are so many different elements involved in why this is happening. There are people that are at home right now and had money to burn and saw a good opportunity and were like, the subreddit community, the community of Wall Street bets, they jokingly egg each other on. Their whole thing is about throwing all the money into something and driving it crazy because market disruption is part of the fun in what's going on there. And some of that is based on people who believe that this is all bullshit and want to prove a point. Some people believe that there should be better rules on how it goes. They like the idea of the market, but they believe there should be better rules. Some of those people are probably formerly involved in the industry themselves. Some of those people got fucked over before and are angry as fuck. You know, there's a lot of there, you know, the number of stories and threads in there of people who are telling stories about what happened in 2008 and how while they were, you know, at home trying to go through pocket change with their dad to find food, and they're showing these brokers on TV popping champagne, like there is some legit anger, and we've talked about it on here for the last 2 years, going on between the wealth class and the non-wealth class. And being at home for over a year has made it very obvious to a lot of people that there is an absolute disparity between, I think it's become more obvious to people what the absolute disparity between money and no money is. And so there is something to be said for people who started off with buying it at $4 a share, who are like, you know, I'm also seeing people in there posting what they've made on the shit and what the shit they've been able to pay off, you know. And then on the flip side, to see guys like Cooperman go on TV and call it an attack on the wealthy and say that people are only doing this because we've given them stimulus checks. And so this guy went on TV and tried to blame the fact that we gave people stimulus checks in a pandemic where they couldn't go out and work for why wealthy people are being attacked on the stock market.
That shit right there shows 100% how detached these motherfuckers are, because that goes against their own fucking argument. The idea that somebody took a $600 stimulus check and flipped that shit in the market to make more money should be like, that's the fucking American dream, nigga. That's what the market's supposed to be. Like, you, instead of like turning that shit in some kind of insult, he should be like, this is why America's great, because a bunch of American ingenuity, they figured out a hole in the system and they ran with it. But instead, this nigga's hating on it. It's bogus. I do think, here's the thing, I do want to say this because we went back and forth hard about this. I still cannot figure out how this shit doesn't count as manipulation, but nobody's calling the flag on the play, so I'm gonna shut the fuck up about it.
I mean, the SEC has come out and said we're on the side of the retail investors in this one.
That's what I'm saying. Nobody's calling the flag on the play, so if nobody's calling the flag on the play, because here's the thing that's the funniest thing about it. Before I found out that the SEC said that and that they just started letting people trade on Robinhood and stuff again, I was thinking about the fact that the people at GameStop haven't taken any of the capital. Like, they haven't sold any shares and they haven't done a split. Which
Diamond hands, baby. Diamond hands. Going to Mars.
Hell yeah.
No.
The GameStop cats are riding it to 5Gs, baby. We're taking it to 5Gs.
Here's what I'm saying. I don't understand. Why don't they offer a stock split? Because if they offer a stock split, that stock would go through the fucking roof.
Well, because somebody at Melvin Capital called up GameStop and was like, you know how they stormed the Capitol? That's how we coming for your ass.
Yeah,
y'all had 80,000 stores. We couldn't come take you down, but now you got like 500 stores. We come find all y'all niggas now. We gonna send everybody from Melvin Capital to own guns. We gonna come for you.
hey, these motherfuckers better give me better deals on my trade-ins now that they got all this money.
What was interesting though was like, okay, so that guy Cooperman was an asshole about it, right? Like, he was shitty about it. He called it.
Dude, it was so funny. Like, I've never seen a panel on, especially a business channel. This is on CNBC. Like, you can see, just like you can watch in our show right now. If you're watching us online, you can see us panels. You can see there was 4 other financial experts, and they were literally in the panel like, this motherfucker. Like, like they were literally like...
David Portnoy, in the middle of while this dude was talking, literally just turned to start typing shit on his computer. You know, he was tweeting like, this guy's on bullshit. This guy... Yeah. Well, I'll say this too, though. Like, so Cooperman is an example of a guy who hated on it. But, and this, I think, is part of the defense against the concept of manipulation, is that so many other people who are in the business world were like, good on. I mean, the whole idea, there used to be a time when you couldn't just go invest in some shit on your own. I remember when I was young and I wanted to go buy some stock, I couldn't just call up the New York Stock Exchange and be like, give me 2 shares of
Yeah.
Give me one share Exxon Mobil.
I think young people don't quite get this. Like, you used to have a broker who you would just give money to, and you'd go, make me money. Like, those old movies in the 80s were all about somebody who was new at some firm who had to go out and convince a guy to give him his business, right? And so,
Dude,
like,
yeah,
they want,
I mean, it's still that way to some degree, but go ahead.
well, if you're worth $5 million, you got better shit to do with your time than fuck around and play on Robinhood all day, most likely, unless you're fucking deep fucking value. But like in today's world, like they've pushed for this. They've been talking about this for a long time, for the longest time. You guys should invest more. We need to teach the people how to invest more. They should be we got to free it for the people. They created these apps. They open these apps to the market. They let any average human, if you're 18 or older, you can open up an account and you can start on your own here, and you can invest in the real market. And nobody at the market is up till this week had told you couldn't do that shit. And so, like, they wanted this involvement from us. And now we have gotten involved, and because we're all home, a couple of people figured out how to game the game. It is a game anyway. First of all, it's a game, okay? I know that when you talk about stocks, you say there's all these fundamentals behind them, but if the fundamentals were exactly specific, then there wouldn't be any argument about what a company was worth. If the fundamentals were specific, Enron would never be worth what it was before it got shorted.
Oh, no. There are smoke and mirrors with the numbers to some degree, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's not. Calling it a game like makes it sound like it's all chance. It's not chance.
No. I don't mean it like that. I don't mean it like it's all chance. Yeah. I mean, craps is a game, but there's odds on what you're gonna roll.
Yeah, but that's chance. Like, this is far less chance. Like, again, making the people who are shorts, who bet the shorts seem like they're the villain, I think is a. I don't know. I don't like. I'm not saying
they're the villain. I'm saying the game in itself, the concept in itself, creates a situation in which there is a way to game the system. When you talk about there was a LIBOR scandal years ago where they were gaming that system. There's a number of people get caught for insider trading.
You
can game the system. The rich people have been gaming the system for years.
Oh yeah. The system is literally like. Yeah, you're constantly pushing to the edge to game the system or to play with inside the rules.
And then some broke niggas figured out how to game the system, and they were like, "Oh no." Rob, what were you gonna say?
It just seems to me that by virtue of the system being what it is, it's a game. Like if you telling me I can't have no insider information, right? But my brother owns some shit that's about to go public, and I know it. And I'm telling you, and you tell somebody else now, ain't nobody, if you don't have access to people, then you can't know what they did. You can't know how they move. And the only reason that this is happening is because we are able to connect with each other. Now, just like they can connect on the level they on, now that we connected on our level, now it's foul, now it's wrong. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing about the law. The law don't mean nothing if you're not going to enforce it. Like, when you got to know that certain people know shit. And then you find out that the politicians know it. And they just recently made that illegal. And even that ain't illegal to the depths that it should be. So to me, it's all based on bullshit.
I mean, look at Kelly Loeffler, right? Kelly Loeffler in early 2020 got information about the pandemic. If you don't know who Kelly Loeffler was, she was a senator in Georgia who is married to the man.
David Perdue did too.
She's married to the man who owns the New York Stock Exchange, which I don't think is a thing that should be able to happen. Like, here's why it's bullshit, X, because if you got a market that anybody can invest on, that should be just a thing that's like a dude, like, hi, I'm Jim, I own that whole market.
It should be like the expressway. It should be the commons. It should be like the expressway. It should be the commons.
Right. Yeah, I'm a bigger fan of that. But and that's a whole different argument. But my point was, when she got her information about the pandemic, because she's a senator, she invested in companies that made things like body bags. And she took money out of companies that she knew were going to be in trouble, like restaurants and other things like that. And to me, you should go to jail for that. That's way more gaming the system than a bunch of morons on a website who are yelling YOLO while they're throwing their paycheck into a fucking stock that's supposedly worth $17.
What she did, she should go to jail for
Do you think she's gonna go to jail?
No, she's not. I don't even think she's being investigated.
That's my entire defense against anybody calling what happened this week manipulation.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I mean,
also the people that came out and said good things about it. One of the there was a guy who was an early investor in Robinhood who was on CNBC this morning who was like, despite all the crazy shit, like good on the investors at home. Like they fucking rolled out. Mark Cuban, a bunch of guys who are heavily involved.
Cuban was heavy on it. He had me flip flopping. Cuban had me because I watched Cuban and I was like, fuck yeah, he got some good points.
Pop it, Elon, dude. Elon
yeah,
Musk.
I mean, the thing with Elon Musk is that Elon is already mad at Melvin Capital because they said Tesla wasn't going to be shit. Here's my only thing I will say. Here's something I will say about
Elon Musk was also personal shit, so that kind of made me not really feel what he was saying.
Hey, man.
That's like a dude.
Y'all said my electric car wasn't gonna be shit.
Hey man, have you ever bumped into a cat that used to mess with a chick that you messing with currently? That nigga he ain't got no good news about that bitch.
Nothing nice he got to say.
He ain't gonna say something nice, but he about to tell you everything wrong with that. Hey, has she started doing this blah 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 yet?
Yeah.
You know, that type of shit. You know,
She throwing the sweatpants on when you get home right away. Is that what's going on?
Because he got to make himself seem good. So Elon Musk shitting on Melvin Capital.
Yeah, that didn't sway me. Elon didn't sway me. But the thing about that though is like so. Okay, so that may not make Elon reputable to me, but there are a lot of people who do like Elon Musk who are like no, I mean, who like Elon Musk, but also have a couple million to throw at the market, right?
Well,
that nigga hates him.
I'm not in that club.
If I can interrupt real quick, so I'll tell you Elon's impact on kind of this whole situation. So like Wall Street Bets itself loves Elon Musk.
Yeah,
so like
huge.
Anytime
that
Elon
to Mars shit is totally about Elon.
When watch Elon's, if you want to, here's a little insider info. If you want to know what's coming up, dude, if you want to make a quick sale, go follow Elon's Twitter and set your alerts. Because every time he tweets, whatever he's tweeting at jumps like 5%. It's crazy.
He was on the Discord channel they had at Wall Street Bets.
Yeah, dude, for sure. Dude.
I mean, he's in the fucking room.
Elon Musk
he's in
is
there.
like a real life South Park character. He's like a live action South Park character, man.
Yeah,
this thing is insanely rich, and he's doing like what everybody like. You know how you said to yourself, man, if I had billions of dollars, I'd do this. Elon Musk is doing that shit.
Yeah, he's that guy.
I do want to say something about companies that do shorts because it's really easy to we've painted them in a not as harsh light here, and there is some, and don't get me wrong, like I said, when they spot a fucking bullshit ass company, they are smart people. They got MIT motherfuckers. They got the quants in there, right? Like all the quants are in there telling you these are the fucking little particles that breaking down why this shit's gonna fail, and they do spot occasionally some shit right away. They also do this thing though where they take a short position on a company, and then they find every way they can to make that company look like dog shit publicly. They will, like, maybe not directly because nobody knows who them niggas behind the doors at Melvin Capital are, right? Like, name 5 people that work at Melvin Capital, right? Okay, so name 2.
Melvin.
Okay, moving on.
And he
Melvin's been there for 20 years. That's his son running the motherfucking now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Melvin Jr.
But like, you want to, but like when a story comes out about a store doing some bullshit or like this store's tanking and all of a sudden that's on the news for some reason. Oh, they've like, that is some shit that is sometimes pushed by these guys who aren't going to make money if the company doesn't fail. If you put 500,
yeah, but that doesn't make companies fail though.
If I made a $20 million bet that a company would fail, I'd probably go tell somebody that company ain't shit. And I'd probably go get somebody to tell some people that company ain't shit. And I'd probably try and figure out some ways to get some reviews to make some people look like that company ain't shit. Every time they fired 5 more motherfuckers at the company that ain't shit. They look at them kicking this person out of here and being mean to that person. Like you would make some moves if you had 20 million on this shit.
Especially now that all you gotta do is find a Yelp review, just compile a bunch of one-star motherfuckers and just put it out there.
Hit him with the hind, baby. Hit him with the hind. It's
1 star.
you know, we've got the tickers running for a couple things on the screen. If you can see, we've got the GME stock, which is now I think 305 at the latest, and Doge, which is at 051.
I threw Bitcoin.
I think
up
like
there
a
too.
week ago. I think a week ago, Dogecoin, which is a cryptocurrency, was at like a penny. It was like
Dude,
somewhere around a penny.
yesterday.
And now it's at 5 cents. Last night it was up somewhere around 8. And so the thing that's crazy about it, if you're not familiar with what that means, is like obviously if you want to buy stock in something that's $400, to get one you need $400, right? If you want to buy stock in something that is a penny, like I have thousands and thousands of shares of of this stock, because at a penny I was like, I mean, what are we really talking about here, right? This is not a ton of money to buy a few thousand shares of a stock that's a penny is not a big deal. And then when that motherfucker goes up to 8, even if it just goes up to 8 cents, it's still like the return on that is silly. And so that is the wild thing that is happening right now. And I think, you know, X, you like the market. I think if nothing else, one thing we can take out of this is that like a lot more people are a lot more interested and invested in what the market is. And if anything good comes out of it, I think one, you actually you're gonna get some more fuckery, right? You're gonna get some more people like, and that's the thing is like, this is always a battle of like figuring out a trick and then them trying to figure out a way to stop that trick and then figure out a new trick. Like this, like what's happened with this, I promise you, and we talked about it earlier, X, the people who run them markets, now that they know this was a trick that was pulled, they're going to figure out some way to fuck with this. Whether they send people into Wall Street bets to disseminate bullshit information and fuck up the system over there, where they change the rules of how the system works so it can't be benefited that way.
They're not going to do any of that. They're going to start doing swaps where they look like they're going hard one way, get everybody in, dump their position really quickly, and go the other direction and ride the wave. Because by the time, like once something like this gets going, they've probably already done it with this. That's probably what happened during the when Robinhood went offline.
They're like, how do we fix this motherfucker real quick?
Yeah, so they're flipped on the other side and riding the wave. They lost on the front end. The people who came in from Citadel and backed them up and reloaded them, they're riding the wave on the other side to cover their losses on the front side. So
yeah, because today the stock didn't move up nearly as crazily as it did before. They literally came in and were like, we got to change how this works. We cannot let this nigga go to 500 today. They were just not going to they weren't going to let it happen. But I think you know, people continue to try to game the system. I do think that more people involved will force them to create a more earnest style system.
I want to just kind of jump back on what you said. Let it happen. There isn't anybody controlling. The reason why it didn't move up high faster today is because after that shit happened yesterday, people got gun shy. There's nobody in the market. There's nobody in the market pressing down on it. And if you're
depressing the market if you're not letting people buy the amount of shares they want to buy.
They're not doing that anymore.
Yeah, they were. On Robinhood today, you couldn't buy when the day started, you couldn't buy more than 5 shares. And then in the middle of the day, they changed it and they said you couldn't own more than a share.
Okay, so here's the deal. Robinhood, the reason why you guys can trade for free with Robinhood is because they're charging a higher strike price for you guys on that. If you get a Schwab account, you don't have.
Yeah, but not everybody has Schwab, but like. Okay,
but if you already have all these, you already have the stock. I'm talking about people who are already playing. I'm not talking about somebody trying to get in. If you already have the stock, you don't need any kind of extra money.
Not everybody has
the stock.
Not everybody has a Schwab account though. So like, there's still
get one. It's the same way you got the Robinhood account.
But dude, I'm not talking about what to do tomorrow. I'm talking about what happened today. Not everybody went out and got Schwab accounts on Thursday. Everybody is still trading through a lot of the same platforms they were trading through. And the rules were changed for a lot of those people today that limited their purchasing power. And that's what I'm telling you. That's a depression of the market.
It's not depression of the market because there were other ways for you to get it, to get it. It would only be a depression of the market if everybody shut you out. They only shut it out from that one place because that's where you guys were going at it. But you could have very easily just, like, it was open. Any place else you wanted to buy it, you could buy as much as you wanted to.
There are limits on a
Where
number
was
of
the
different
problem?
platforms.
No, but
Where
not
was the-
anywhere where you charge a broker fee. What?
Dude, where was the problem? See, two problems with what you're saying. One, if I didn't have to pay before, why I got to pay this motherfucker? Because y'all done told
Because
this.
you were paying before.
Feel me.
They charge you a slightly higher price than
But
what
X,
you would
that's
have
the
got if
argument
you went through.
but X, that's the same argument that people make against the idea of either paying for healthcare in your taxes or paying it out of your pocket. You have to convince, you know how much time it takes to convince people that it's worth to spend money on something they hadn't spent money on in years? It's not going to happen in a day. It's just not.
In addition to that, you giving money to these same people. And the other thing is, the same people who would have bought the shit through Robinhood or whomever are the same people that you didn't want in the market. You see what I'm saying?
On top of that, like I have tried to open up, like I started to try and open up a Webull account on Wednesday because I knew shit was going crazy. And it's Friday afternoon, and I still have not gotten confirmed on my Webull account. I tried to open up a TD Ameritrade account on Wednesday because my Webull account didn't open right away. I still can't finalize my TD Ameritrade account. So, like, because of the giant influx of what's going, I opened the account, but I can't get the stock part going. So, like, because of the giant influx of action going on, it has gummed up the works, which has depressed the system because and I get why Robinhood had to restrict share buying because they have to have the capital. I get that. But because the system was built the way it was, it created a situation in which it forced the market to have to depress people that wanted to keep participating in it, which helped.
I don't think that they're not depressing.
If I'm stuck where I can't buy more than I would like to buy, then I'm stuck. And if that happens,
I mean, here's the thing. I
can't though.
If you have enough money that their cap on the number of shares you wanted to buy was stopping you from buying more, you have enough to get a fucking account. And if
how much time would it take?
And if you
I just told you I tried to open 2 and I couldn't get them done.
Did you call? Did you actually call and talk to customer service?
No, I did not call somebody at customer service.
If I'm like, this is.
I want to be clear. I'm not making a personal complaint. I'm telling you that this is a thing that's happened like across the board.
But when you say it sounds conspiratorial, and when you say like they're depressing one segment, and that's the people who use Robinhood. Now,
it just hurt the market, dude? Huh? The people that have Schwab accounts weren't the ones who fucked up the market. Why do you think Robinhood was a place that had to shut down trading? Because the purchases were going through them. Nobody was buying through fucking Schwab 2 days ago, except for big money motherfuckers.
But they had to shut down trading because they're used to you broke motherfuckers buying through them.
And now we got money we're trying to buy through and we can't.
And they don't have the reserves.
I'm not shitting on them for not having the reserves. What I'm telling you is what it creates is a situation. It creates a situation, whether they meant for it to happen or not, where people were not able to buy what they wanted to buy.
When you say depressed, it sounds like you're making it sound like the man is putting his foot down, whereas the man is
because he already had his foot in the system before it started. There was already a goddamn circuit breaker that they knew was built in the system. You just keep saying how smart these dudes are because they smart enough to know when they about to get fucked, everything got to be still.
But the reason why there's a circuit breaker in the system is and I keep saying this and motherfuckers won't believe, that shit is just as much to protect the people, the people who are buying through Robinhood, it is for the big motherfuckers because when volatility gets that high and shit could just drop, the bottom could fall out of some shit if the mood switches for whatever reason. There's people who are investing their fucking $50,000 or whatever. Like, they could lose everything, man.
I'm a grown fucking man. If I want to throw my 50 grand and jump off a bridge over it, dude, I don't want to hear about that because my homie lived in New York forever and he was in a brokerage firm and he said every summer there'd be like 10 niggas on every Friday jumping off the bridge. So like, because they don't give a fuck about some retail cat in his home in California losing his 50 grand he YOLO'd into 5 million jumping off a bridge. They don't give a fuck about that guy because they're dudes who walked off of the fucking trading floor in New York every Friday in the summertime, multiple, and jumped off the goddamn bridge because they lost everything. They don't give a fuck about. They're not trying to protect no niggas from losing money. Get the fuck out of here, man. How the motherfuckers on the trading floor lose money? How many motherfuckers you traded? How many guys do you know that you work with that blew their fucking wad, that lost their shit? They didn't give a fuck about you. All the time leading up to this week, they didn't give a fuck about the money I lost on bullshit last year. They didn't give a fuck about the money. Now that I put in 50 grand, you worried about me? Nah, nigga, you wasn't worried about me when I was betting 10. Why are you worried about me when I'm betting 50?
And you yourself said that there was only so much money that people had that were not the elite in the market. So if most of the money in the market is not from regular people, if most of it is from the elite, who are they really protecting?
Well, the thing is like, if people buying through Robinhood has disrupted the market so much that they changed the way that and how much you can buy through Robinhood, or has affected Robinhood's ability to fulfill everything that has changed, then whether it's you don't have to call it.
It didn't change it. Those triggers were always there.
You didn't have to call it. You don't have to call it conspiratorial.
No, I'm saying, but it didn't change anything. Those triggers were already there.
No, they stopped people from being able to trade
because those triggers were already there because they exceeded what they had on reserve to be able to cover those trades.
Sure, but whatever you want to fucking call it, people were struggling today to get the amount of the shit they wanted to get. Not everybody can call up Charles Schwab on a Friday morning and have an account open and ready to go in time to start working. That's just not where people are. That's not a thing.
There's a bunch of fucking brokers. I just said Charles Schwab. There's a bunch of fucking ways you could. Sure, if it was that serious and you really wanted to do it, you could have done it. Like I don't want to hear this shit because you just said you're a grown ass man. If there's another way you wanted to do it, you could have got it done. You did not have to go through Robinhood. Robinhood's the way you know how to do it. But if it was that serious, if you think you seriously lost money on it, I'm telling you right now on the show, you watching the show. Money. I'm saying I didn't. I ain't saying you. I'm saying anybody watching the show that disagrees with my position. Go open a fucking account with somebody else.
How long does it take to get that done?
Like a minute. It's just like opening a banking account. Just like you open a bank account.
It's gonna take a minute with the current situation. Because you just said that there's
how many people you think would have been calling? How many people were calling brokerage houses this morning? You mean, look at, man, I understand this shit is volatile, and I understand the desire to try and make sure the machine keeps running, right? But that doesn't change the fact that things were hampered over the last 2 days and held back over the last 2 days from people who were trying to participate. Regardless of telling somebody there's another road they could take, if you throw up a brick wall in front of somebody while they're running, they're going to bounce their head off of something for a minute. Man, if I could buy 50 shares yesterday, today you tell me I can only get one, and I learned that shit at 2 a.m. You set up a brick wall and you force me to do a different thing.
Here's what I'm trying to tell you. This is basically what it is. Let's say for some reason the bank that you normally go to, for some reason everybody in your neighborhood, there's a giant poker game. Everybody decides to pull out $10,000. That branch doesn't have that kind of fucking money as a branch. They're not going to be able to let people to do it. They're not trying to shut down the poker game when they tell people not to do that. You keep presenting it like I'm telling you they're trying to like purposefully fuck somebody over. I understand that. If it's an accident or whatever, it's not an accident. It's set up in the system to do that.
But it's unintentional, right? Like if they had the money, they would have let people keep trading, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, but because they didn't, people could not make the trades. So therefore, they were fucked, whether they wanted to or not. You don't have to blame anybody for it. It's what happened, but it is what happened. People made less trades today. The stock moved less than it could have because the opportunity for people to do that adjusted.
And I'm saying if it was that serious, if you're that serious, get a fucking other account with somebody else that has the fucking money.
And what I'm telling you is that it wasn't going to be as simple a day as you're making it out to be.
Well,
there's a lot going on today.
About that lady that's in the Congress that's got the sister moving out of office. This made me angry. I'm like,
Marjorie Taylor Greene?
Yeah, I don't like that chick at all.
That bitch is crazy.
Man,
we probably got about 10 minutes left, so we should. I mean, to wrap up the whole stock thing. I mean, I think that if you're going to create something that is got kind of like ethereal rules to it, you know what I mean? Like, some shit gets wild one day. We just gonna stop it until we can figure out how to fix it. Like, I feel like you have poorly set up your game plan. You know what I mean? Like we were talking about yesterday, X, like if we're playing a game and a thing happens in the sport that we're playing and the refs have to stop and go, shit, y'all, we didn't plan for this type of, like, we're playing basketball. I shoot a ball and it gets stuck between the rim and the backboard. And they hadn't figured out what the fuck the rule for that's going to be. We probably shouldn't start playing basketball until you think about the fact that might happen. We should definitely not be like, well, we're going to have to call it for the day. Y'all can come back and finish up tomorrow. We're going to have a 2-hour debate over what we do when a ball gets caught between the rim and the basket, especially for something that's been around as long as the stock market has. Like, the idea that this was not something that there's been any foresight to. I'm just calling it problematic. That's it.
It's not problematic. I'm saying
it is, man.
It isn't. It's Robin. It's only specific to Robin Hood, man.
It's not. Webull shut down. Ameritrade shut down. All these fucking platforms wouldn't let people trade for a day. All you could do was sell your position, which does what? Drives the stock down. Right? They made that move overnight. People had stocks that they had set up to purchase at the opening bell, and they woke up to have their shit rejected with no notice until they woke up. That seems like somebody in the system going, fuck that. And now I get that maybe they don't have enough money to cover it. They looked at it, we couldn't pay this out if we had to. I understand all that. I get it. But that is problematic when you have listen, if you're gonna let the average guy put his own money into some shit and believe he's gonna get some shit, and then you're gonna come back and be like, oh yeah, sorry, nah, you can't have, like, okay, that's a problem.
Here's the reason why, and I know you guys are getting angry about this, but I need you to understand the reason why they didn't have the money is because, like, that shit's never happened before.
I don't care why.
But you need to care why. The shit's never happened before. Like, go back to the bank analogy. The bank not have enough money to give everybody cash is because they don't expect a run of people to ask for $10,000. So it's set up to handle what they normally have because that's how risk works. You don't just fucking have a ton of money waiting around just in case one day everybody decides to go nuts on the fucking internet. You can't do that. You can't operate a business like that. It's not safe. If that's how shit would get fucked up. So that when shit goes crazy like that and they have to, all they had to do was just and also the stock was available other places. It was just not available through that platform.
You keep saying that, but when it wasn't available through that platform, I went to other platforms and couldn't get my account started. I could start, but couldn't fully open the account because so many people were in the same situation. And then in an attempt to be proactive, those other accounts also said you couldn't do that also. So, like, it's just not, like, what I'm saying at the end is blame, no blame, keep the cool system running, protect all these people. All that shit in the end has created what we have right now, which is a problem. There's a problem. There are a bunch of people who are upset at how this is going at the moment. There's people who are very happy. There's people who are very confused. But what I see is an issue with the way that things have happened. And hopefully what I hope it leads to, which is what my original point was, is better safeguards, better ways to protect something like this happening again. Because again, the person who is fucked by the biggest
nobody's
percentage,
getting fucked.
You are getting fucked. You keep saying that, but you are getting fucked.
You are getting fucked. Here's why you're not getting fucked.
Because if you bought 15, you could sell it at 200, but I didn't want to sell it at 200 because I knew it was going to 400.
Also, but you don't have a right to get to buy as much as you want. Like, there's no right to let you.
Of course, there's only so much stock available.
Yeah,
but I should be able to buy as much of that stock as I would like to buy.
But like, what you're saying is, like, if Facebook decided to, like, Facebook doesn't allow you to show titties. What you're arguing is that it's not fair that they don't allow you to show titties. I agree with you that it's not fair. That yes, it is, because you're saying the way that their business is set up, their business isn't set up for what you guys did. You guys did some shit that was completely against the grain. It was against the grain, and you're saying because you were able to do that, and it fucked up this new app that's only this new style of trading.
I understand how it broke. This new style of trading
that's only been around for like 2 years. This new style of trading that's only been around for 2 years. You're saying because you broke that, the whole system is fucked up, and I disagree with that. Because you couldn't have done this if you had done this through a regular brokerage house, nobody would have been shut down.
Yes, what I'm saying is that they allowed us to participate without fully understanding the process of what could happen. And what I'm telling you is that what I would like to see in the future is better safeguards so something like this doesn't happen again. That's all I'm asking for. I don't need to I don't need to be told for the fifth time about like why it didn't work or that they weren't ready and that they're not these people who've been running this shit for all these years didn't know how to fucking set up for all this. I fine. That's great. Can we make sure that like the common guy who's trying to make a couple bucks doesn't get fucked over next time? Can we try and protect the guy who like
But you understand Robinhood is new.
I don't give a fuck, man. The market that's been around for 100 years, let them connect and let guys who do plumbing work invest. If you're going to be like, hey, man, you're a plumber. If you want to throw 20,000 at us, we'll let you do it because fuck it. You didn't give a fuck about it when I was putting the 20,000 in. Now all of a sudden it's like, oh, we're not ready for that shit. Well, guess what? Maybe you shouldn't have let plumbers put 20 grand in yet. Well, as much as I would like to be a part of being, as much as I like the fact that I get to invest, the fact that the people who are like me are losing hard here or had lost some or didn't get to gain what they were expecting to do because of what they thought, because of some other shit that wasn't ready for us or whatever the fuck. I would like to see that not happen again. I think that'd be cool. Don't you think that'd be cool if like that wasn't a situation that happened again?
Yeah.
It'd be nice.
I'm just saying
it'd be cool. If like, you know, if a bunch of regular Joes who decided to invest in something could invest the way they wanted to, or at least could know exactly how, like what their limits on situations were like before the morning that they tried to be back involved in the situation, you know, like maybe this will teach the guys who are running shit a lesson, or are they going to go after the smallest motherfuckers again when it comes down to it?
Absolutely. Ain't nobody going to jail. Ain't nobody going to get in no trouble. It ain't going to be nothing else
you motherfuckers are still making a shit ton of money. They didn't fuck anybody. Nobody lost in shit. They have restrictions on what they can purchase because they only have so much. They only worth so much money themselves.
I understand all that.
I don't know how else to explain it to you.
It's not like I don't get that. I get that.
Like a casino can only cover a bet for so high. You're mad because you guys came to a casino with more money than the casino could cover, and you're mad that the casino can't cover you.
The casino, like before, like when we came in with the money, they probably should be like, "Oh shit, we gotta hold this shit down."
But they did. That's exactly what they did, and then they went and got more money.
What I like is better controls over how that works. I want to talk about Marjorie Taylor Greene because we don't have a whole lot of time left. Marjorie Taylor Greene is a congresswoman from Georgia. She is from Georgia. It's a state that she believes was rigged to give Joe Biden the presidency, but somehow wasn't rigged against her winning her Congress seat in the House of Representatives, which is a weird thing, right? Like my whole thing with the whole rigging of the election part was that Democrats lost House seats in states that they won, where Biden won on the ticket, which seems like a weird way to rig an election. Like we just gonna
rig this one part. This one part.
I agree. That's amazing to me. Like, you know, it's just like it's like crybabies once again. You know, I'm the snowflake because I'm telling you I'm getting fucked over in life. But the moment things don't go exactly the way you want them to go, now you got to run up on the stairs of the Capitol with your M16 that you done bought. They're probably gonna blow up in your hand. You know what I mean? All these dumb. And so for me, it's just hilarious the idea of her saying how they have something stolen from them. When has anything ever been stolen from you?
I want to talk about some of the conspiracies that she believes in. She's a QAnon.
Yes.
She's a big QAnon chick. She blames the 2018 California wildfire on a laser beam, that was fired from outer space that was owned by George Soros. That's the thing that she believes.
Space Jews.
She believes
Jews in space.
She claimed that the school shootings in Parkland and Sandy Hook were false flag events. She
went after one of the kids from
David Hogg, who's like one of the most. David Hogg, who's like one of the famous 3 or 4 kids from Parkland, who's been big on stuff. She followed him around, asking him why he was against guns. After this guy was in the middle of a traumatic situation. Yeah. He was like a teenager in high school. Like, X, you got a 16-year-old. I got a 15-year-old as of last Tuesday. Happy birthday to my kid.
Happy birthday to my kid.
You know, like it's
Kids love birthdays.
if my
kids love
kid was in
birthdays.
school, kids love birthdays. If my kid was in school and lived through that thing, and some lady tried to follow her around after she showed up at the Capitol, like talking about why you got to get some gun control, I would. I ain't hitting a woman, but I would find me a woman that would hit that woman, and I bet I could find a
Hey,
couple. You know what I mean?
I would Joanna man that bitch. I'd shave the motherfucking beard, get some size 17 high heels, and and put a wig on the backside of the dreads. Did you talk some shit to my 16-year-old son? And I whip her ass.
Listen,
hold on. I want to talk about a couple of the other things she believes in. 2017, the Las Vegas shooting. She says that it was a plot from gun control activists. She claims that the Pizzagate theory is real, which is basically a theory that there's a satanic child sex trafficking ring at a Washington pizza restaurant, which she's in Washington now. She can go check it out for herself. She actually claimed that Hillary Clinton was part of a group who was in the satanic ceremonies where a girl was murdered and she had her face chopped off, and then she wore the severed face as a mask and drank the blood of the murdered child.
Give the name of the ceremony?
What was the name of the ceremony?
Ah, damn! I was hoping you had it.
I don't. No.
It's just the fact that it even has a
gross
name.
Ass. Yeah.
That it even has. It's a name. There's a thing.
In 2018, she shared a video called "With Open Gates: The Forced Collective Suicide of European Nations," which claimed that Zionists were pushing migration to Europe in places where to replace white populations. Let's see. She wrote a blog saying that the rally in Charlottesville was an inside job. There's a number of these crazy things going on. She tried to get Ilhan Omar and Rashida Tlaib to swear on a Bible when they were being sworn into Congress. Why is she still in Congress?
Dude, it just came out that they were warned before, like, I guess during the primaries, that this bitch was crazy and that they shouldn't fuck with her. And Kevin McCarthy ignored the warnings and went with her. And it's because the GOP has backed themselves into the corner. Or, I'm not even going to say that. That's fucking giving excuses for them. They backed themselves in the corner. The GOP has gathered all their favorite friends and relatives and all gathered around this fucking racist ass, stupid ass conspiracy bullshit that all these fucking morons believe, and that's where they're focusing all their energy.
The problem
because they need those kooky motherfuckers, because without them, they ain't winning shit.
The problem is too many black people, Mexicans, and people who are not them are walking around happy and proud playing with Pokemon. You motherfuckers have too much shit that they don't have. And because you raise the little kids like yours, eggs that are bigger than them, knocking them down and beating them at the video game too, you are reminding them how common they are. And the people who are not common amongst them recognizes this and is consistently saying, why y'all ain't doing as good as them? And they believe in that bullshit and buying in instead of grabbing hands with them people and learning how to do better in a fucked up situation and then start aiming their arrows at the people who are the real problem.
That's pretty solid. That's a pretty solid explanation. I mean, the trouble with the GOP is that they're caught between a rock and a hard place now, because they got all these people who are, I guess technically conservatives, who are also QAnon believers. They've got all these different disparate groups who are part of their deal, right? QAnon believers, they've got Oath Keepers and 3%ers and Ku Klux Klanners and all these other versions of white nationalists that are out there. And they lost the Senate, the House, and the presidency, even with all them motherfuckers. And so they're extremely worried that if they give up any one of those groups, they will never win. They won't even have a shot at winning anything again. They are worried they won't have a shot. And so when you see her, when you see things like McCarthy going down to meet with Trump, you see that shit, what you're realizing is that they cannot afford to turn away anybody. No matter what your deal is, it doesn't matter. You want to believe in space monkeys slinging poo from Mars? They're like, listen, as long as you will vote Republican, I'm going to let you say that shit. You could say, you want to carry a gun into the fucking Congress after they fucking raided the shit, trying to kill Nancy Pelosi? Whatever, man. It's cool. Ted Cruz, you want to fucking talk some shit after, like Lauren Boebert, you want to give away Nancy Pelosi's position in the fucking chambers while they're coming through? Come on back in, lady. Bring your gun with you. You know what I mean? They need every bit of it. They can't get anywhere without every single white vote they can get. And if they can fool some black people into thinking they can be a part of the victory, they're going to fool them too.
That's amazingly funny.
Crazy.
Yeah, come on in here with your one shotgun leg, lady. Come on in here
I want to talk about what.
Hey, just point that shotgun leg towards them darkies behind.
I want to talk about. Well, I think it is definitely a thing to be concerned about that Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's a big Second Amendment lady, and Lauren Boebert, who's a big Second Amendment lady. And these are Lauren Boebert, who's got obvious connections to Q conspiracists and all these other people. She's got pictures in front of her bar with 3%ers, I think, or Oath Keepers or whatever. She's big on carrying a gun into Congress. She was giving away Pelosi's position in the shit. And then having Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's a big Second Amendment person, who is in there claiming that Hillary Clinton was doing blood sacrifice rituals with children. I don't feel that that's necessarily safe to have around AOC. Okay, could you just keep the motherfuckers away? And I think AOC made that point greatly, because one of the things that did what to step back into the previous conversation just a little bit, on the political side, AOC did step up and say we need to look at how this whole process works with the stock market. And Ted Cruz agreed with her. And then she called him out for like, didn't you just try and get me killed like 3 weeks ago, nigga? What?
Right, don't bite the knife, raise up.
Yeah, don't try and slide in here now, motherfucker. You fucked up already. We ain't forgot about that shit. And so,
hey, that's like you ever have a bad breakup with an ex? You like something on her page? Nah, nigga, go like it on that other bitch page.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but if I was in Congress with those people, and I felt that I almost died because of their positions and the people they hang out with, we couldn't just be hanging out in a room no more, dog.
Yeah, we not cool no more. We not good no more.
If you couldn't retweet my shit no more unless you was like retweeting it to tell me how sorry you were, but you couldn't be in, like, I would have to have somebody keep you in a different. I'll come in when this nigga's gone. I ain't sitting in the room with Ted Cruz no more.
It is an issue of lack of accountability. It is a issue of, if the first time she walked up behind that little boy, he just hit her in her mouth, then it would have been a whole together different. She'd have walked up more gingerly. She was confident because she knew she was carrying a firearm, and she figured she could get to it before the little dude could bash her head in. It is a lack of accountability. That's why Ted Cruz went to the inauguration like, hey, what's up, y'all? Where the Kool-Aid at? You know what I'm saying? This is a lack of when you get hit in the mouth, it changes the way you feel about fighting. It's not, if they would fuck one of them up, this shit would not be the same. And I'm not calling for violence per se. I'm just saying you couldn't have did that shit in Inglewood.
Yeah, you ain't gonna try. Yeah, you couldn't try and kill somebody in the hood and then show up at the picnic. You know what I mean?
Like, show up at the birthday party. Like, hey, look, no, that's what I'm saying. If the motherfucker tried to kill me, I would say like Bernie Mac used to say, "It's gonna be some furniture moving."
Yeah, it's gonna for sure be
some furniture moving.
Speaking about some weird furniture moving, Enrique Tarrio, who is one of the leaders of the Proud Boys, which is
segue.
He's Enrique Tarrio was a leader of the Proud Boys, and everybody like to use this as an excuse for why they could claim the Proud Boys weren't a white nationalist group.
Yeah,
because he's Cuban and he's from Miami. They don't recognize that, like, in an apartheid state, there are positions given to people who aren't white, as long as they're willing to buy into the apartheid state, right? So,
and Cubans think they white.
And Cubans because they
believe in socialism, and they're taking
in white Jesus and Mary. They believe in a white Jesus and a white Mary, and they do believe in a lot of conservative values, And so it turns out that Enrique Tarrio, who was arrested, by the way, 2 days before the insurrection, he was arrested on January 4th in Washington. Turns out he was a narc the whole time.
Yeah.
They arrested this dude in like 2012 on some bullshit. We're on year 9. This is 9 years this dude has been down with who.
Hey, remember at the beginning of our conversation, the
them
dude
people.
in the time life picture, you know what I'm saying? It's the same situation.
Hey, man.
Yeah.
This motherfucker, and he gave the most snitch type response possible. They asked him about his book, talk about, I don't recall any of this. Nigga, how you not recall getting arrested by the FBI? Like, how much shit you got going on in your life that you don't remember getting arrested by the motherfucking BI?
I was questioned by the FBI once, and I could tell you exactly what his wallet smelled like when he pulled it out of his pocket.
That lingers with you, don't you?
Yes. And I broke the ice by asking him how long he had before he retired, and he was like, "Not soon enough."
Well, the thing with that is the great thing about the response, if I don't recall that, is there's not really a follow-up question you can ask, right? Like, because if you don't recall it, what the fuck you else gonna ask me, nigga? I don't
How
remember.
the fuck can you not recall that? How about that?
Well, you know what he means is like I don't think that's a thing that happened, is what he's trying to say. But see, if you say I didn't do that, then they can then show that you did.
Right.
If you say I don't recall it, they got to go try and prove it.
You can always claim that's fake news.
Right. Yeah. But the thing about the FBI is they keep records of the informants. Like, that's a crazy thing about it.
That's fake news. If nothing is true, then where's your win?
Here's my concern is that, in a way, you want to get excited or you want to laugh because you're like, oh, he was probably fucking the Proud Boys over. But I'm not sure if that's who he was informing on, because this is the same FBI who was involved in like COINTELPRO, who pushed crack in the hood,
CIA.
Like, was he CIA? Sorry, CIA was involved in COINTELPRO, but the FBI has also done plenty of shady shit in this country too. Like, let's not excuse them from doing bullshit, right? So, who was he snitching on? Was he? I mean, there weren't a lot of Proud Boys who'd been arrested until this past couple weeks, so it wasn't like I don't know if he was snitching on Proud Boys. I don't know if he was snitching. I know he was snitching on Proud Boys. Was he snitching on other people who you want to laugh at it because you want to go, oh, they had a snitch inside their midst the whole time, but that doesn't necessarily mean he was snitching on them.
Yeah, well, if you snitching, there's a wide range of snitchability that you have access to. Like, they're not just gonna let that be sitting amongst them and not ask them, hey man, what's going on with this Proud Boy shit? You know what I'm saying?
I mean it more in the way of like
shit works.
I mean it more in the way of the fact that he happened to be a snitching in the Proud Boys doesn't mean that the Proud Boys and the FBI aren't cool.
Here's
that's true.
Here's where I have a little bit of issue and I don't understand. The story about him getting arrested a couple days before the Capitol attack was that he not only was he arrested, he was arrested with weapons and shit. And so if he did not give them, if he wasn't snitching and he didn't give them a heads up and they just kicked him out of town, told him not to come back, how the fuck is the FBI not immediately like, hey, nigga, come back. We need to holler at you again because apparently what you was doing, you didn't tell us about. You know, like
that's what makes me think that maybe this, like the snitch version that's going on is not as happy of a situation as we'd like to buy into. You know what I mean? That makes me think there's a little more. I think there's a deeper story to the version of the type of snitching he's been up to, or like the connection between all of that may not be as excitable as we would like to be based on how we feel about the situation.
Abraham Lincoln was killed a month after his inauguration the second time.
Yeah.
So,
well, they ain't killing Joe because that would mean they got the wrong person as the president after that. If they killing anybody, they killing Kamala. They ain't gonna kill.
That's Joe's. That's Joe's insurance policy.
Yeah. Joe, like, you ain't gonna murder me.
They're never gonna let the black lady be president.
They for sure ain't gonna kill a white dude.
They ain't gonna never let you have them damn Timberland boots on.
Hey, I just realized though, it's fucked up because for some reason, more so than anything, I don't know if I'm being paranoid about this. Have you guys not noticed everything that Joe Biden does? Kamala is there.
Yeah.
Like when this nigga signs some shit, Kamala's there like all the time. Like usually, is the vice president usually standing behind that motherfucker all the time?
There's sometimes, but
Trump did that shit a lot because he needs friends. But I don't remember Joe standing behind Barack every time. I mean, Barack had a lot of solo shots.
Well, there's a couple things I think that could mean. One, maybe he's trying to show how to do this shit, right? Like maybe he's like, look, I'm 78. Yeah. Who the fuck knows, right? Like we roll the dice every morning when I wake up. Every morning I wake up and it's like, oh shit, I'm still here. All right, cool. Let's go do some shit. That's probably part of it. The other part is like, look, it's been 10 days. This bitch ain't got shit else to do yet. We just got started. They hit her with the second dose. And she done that, and she done made some tweets, and that's about all she got. She ain't even planned a trip yet, right? The world's on lockdown anyway. Where's she gonna go?
I think the reason it is because Obama didn't leave no help looking good. You know what I'm saying? He didn't need no help at all looking good. And so now you got Joe, and Joe look kind of rough. So in order to make America feel better, put the little good-looking little light-skinned bitch behind me so everything will be cool. Like people know, if something happened to me, we got the light-skinned sister. Is she
light-skinned? Are we calling her light-skinned?
Well, I'm telling you that.
Man, what the fuck am I?
Let me just tell you.
Hey, you translucent, my dude.
What I'm saying is this. It ain't Vice President. What's the chick down in Georgia?
Stacey Abrams.
Yeah, they gonna be Stacey Abrams. You know what I'm saying? If you look at the two of them, which one looks more like something?
All right, I'm with you on that. Then, all right, you convinced me. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. I think there's multiple reasons why it's a good idea to have Kamala around for a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, let us stay in the background.
I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad about it.
Remind these motherfuckers what they could run into if they fuck up real quick.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I wasn't mad about it. I just noticed. I felt like she's always with this motherfucker. Like I was like, is he okay? Is his health okay? Like, is it for real? Like every time he wake up, like, yay! Friday, I get to do Friday. Hey,
yeah. He's jacked about that shit.
Come on, Major. One more day we get to toss the ball around.
Right? Yeah, Major waking up, he's surprised too. Major and Champ are like, oh shit, nigga,
shit.
You was breathing weird in the night, dog. We thought that was gonna be it for you. It's been a fun show, man. We talked a lot about the thing I think people probably wanted us to spend the most time on. I wish we would have gotten to everything that was on the list, but you know, we got a whole new week coming with some more wild shit that's gonna be going on. Who knows what the fuck's going on next week? I know there's a lot of people who are holding on to their shit over the weekend because they believe that the climb is not done. They believe that if they are freed up to buy more shit, if Robinhood reloads on the capital they've got available, they will buy right back into that motherfucker come Monday. And maybe some people open up some Charles Schwab accounts by then too. You never know.
Dogecoin is dropping for some reason.
Yeah, it's gonna play around tonight. It's at 40. Was it 40 something?
4.6 cents.
I'm all right with that.
Yeah.
It played around a little bit last night, and then like around 8 or 9 o'clock, it jumped up to like 8 cents or something like that. So I'm not too mad at it.
Dogs like to play.
The dogs do like to play. Let them out in the world. X, where can people find you out in the world, man?
At XL Comedy, XLCOMEDY, on IG, Twitter, and the Facebook.
Rob, where can people find you, my brother?
And TikTok.
On them internets.
All them. Find Rob Hines on all them internets. There's been some
John's barbecue foot massage.
Yeah, if you got a minute, go find Roy Wood's Twitter because he suggested another one of the Toby Jones commercials as a legal service for some of these people that are going to need them. I think what he suggested as Trump's impeachment attorney. Is that what he was suggesting? Somebody
else suggested, he retweeted it, and then he suggested that you go long in barbecue and foot massage.
Yeah, go long on barbecue and foot massage. We're taking barbecue and foot massage to the moon on Monday, so stay with us.
Hey, you know, something we didn't talk about in pre-production, but I'm going to spill the beans. We're not going to say the names, but we have 2 high-profile guests coming up in February that y'all going to be super fucking excited about. Some very, very talented, top-notch comedians. We're going to talk to some power brokers in the comedy game.
Hell yeah.
Black History Month. We're going to power it up.
We're putting black people on a Black History Month. Find me at Mocha_Jesus on all the fucking socials. Get to New OG's Pod on all the socials. Find People of Comedy and People of Comedy Network on Twitter and IG. Go listen to some of their other fucking podcasts, man. We love every show they've got out right now. And find us here next Friday. We'll catch you then. That's what's up.
Go ahead.
Think you gang, but nigga, you a stranger. Bitches wanna fuck, but nigga, you can't blame us. Whole lot of niggas changed since